This is step one in creating your online oral presentation. In step one, I'll talk you through what the content should be of your presentation. In the beginning of your presentation, you should include a summary of your trend or issue, and this should include the history or the trends, as well as issues and problems. So this is a summary of your tip, basically. So you're looking at the broad issue of your topic, so religion in schools, privatization of schools, whatever your chapter title was, this is the summary of that trend or issue. Then you're also going to include some important terminology and acronyms people might not be familiar with or that are important to your topic. In the middle of your presentation, you should present both sides of the broad issue. You don't have to talk necessarily a point about your specific research area, but just about the chapter in general, both sides of that issue. And remember, you're presenting them fairly and presenting information about the benefits and challenges of both sides. You're also going to provide a synthesis of the literature, and this is, you should include the textbook and articles that you've read as well. And you need to include references for this. Again, it's just like in the paper. If it's a summary, you'll include the author's last name and then the year of the publication. If it's a direct quote, then put in the author's last name, the year of the publication, and then the page number. At the end of your presentation, you're going to provide us with information about your specific topic. What is it that you're going to be gathering data about? Is it about attitudes? Is it about teacher preparation? And then you're going to provide us with your research questions. Now, this ending part will be the smallest portion of your presentation because you don't really have a lot of information yet. At the end of the course, you will create a short presentation where you describe your findings from your research. Now, what not to include is just as important as what to include. So this is a presentation about your research, what you've gathered so far. So do not include your opinion. This is about the research. This isn't about your personal opinion. Do not include your personal experience. Again, it's what you've read in your literature review, it's what you've read in the textbook, and we don't want stories about what's happened to you in the classroom or your school. Do not include your recommendations. You haven't done enough research yet about your research questions to make any recommendations. You're going to save your recommendations for the conclusion of your paper. At the very end of your final paper is when you get to make your recommendations, and only after you have completed your research. And your recommendations need to be based on what you've collected for your data and what you've reviewed in the literature. It's not going to be based on your personal experience. Now, another guideline when creating your presentation is the 6x6 guideline. And I say this is a guideline, it's not a hard and fast rule, but something you should work toward is having no more than 6 lines of text on a given slide. And then for each line of text, no more than 6 words. Now this, I say, is a guideline because it doesn't always work. If you have a quote, for example, that might not follow the guideline. There are other pieces of information that might not follow the guideline. And when you're talking about 6 words per line, I wouldn't include your citation in the count of the 6 words. And now, after you've done that, after you've created the text for your presentation, you're ready to move on to step 2, where you'll be narrating your presentation.